afternoon, freaks. I'm here to give Pisces a read straight from the hip with lots of lip. And we're diving into the energies in play in February with the what's on deck for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or loaded 12th house. That would be a stellium, 3 or more planets in that 12th house, or one of the significant placements like I mentioned before. You may find resonance with this reading. Do be aware that it is a collective reading, okay? So a lot of different stories filter in. I let those messages funnel in unobstructed. I don't censor the messages in any way. Sometimes a message will come through that is maybe just for a select few, maybe only for one person, but it's something that is needed to come on through. So it's very important to listen to these readings with that in mind, that it's not a personal, all right? Do engage your intuition, tap into the overarching themes. And I find that that's the best way to receive a collective reading. It allows you to really just tune into the overall energy and how it's communicating to you in your specific situation. Do understand that roles can sometimes be reversed. Pick what side you're on. Same applies to gender. Flip-flop things as you need to. Listen to the energy above all else, and you will get the memo. Cross-watcher energy can certainly come in too. Use that to your advantage. If you hear something that's activating, understand you may be getting insight into the other person's perspective. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but it can highlight something for you that can give you an advantage in understanding how you might need to alter your stance or better address the situation to achieve a favorable result. Readings are tools. They're tools for transformation. They give you insight about the energies in play with how you're currently operating. If you make changes, if you shift your stance, you can change the outcome. All right. So very rarely is anything set in stone, unless, of course, we're dealing with the majors discussed, things that are fated, experiences we need to have on our paths because they are part of our spiritual growth, all right? But otherwise, all of those court cards, all of the minors, they give us a lot of wiggle room to act out of our free will. I did get an initial download coming in for you, Pisces, and that was that you were planning on moving forward with some action. At one point, you were really passionate about this. You felt really lit up by it. It's possible it could have even had to do with some kind of sexual attraction. Maybe there was something you were tempted by. Let's put it that way, okay? I definitely feel like there was some kind of sexual charge there. But something came to light for you, and it sort of brought up some red flags for you. I feel like you went through a period of anxiety around this. You felt a lot of stress. You might have even had a little sleepless nights kind of up in your head about this thing. And I feel like ultimately you've temporarily, at least temporarily, put this energy on hold. I feel like it's in kind of a stalemate position. There's something that you've put on hold. And at one time you were very passionate about it. It was something that was really lighting you up. You felt enthusiastic about it. You were planning on moving forward with it. I am picking up a real sexual overtone to it, okay? I suppose it could be something that would just really inspire you on a creative level, maybe tapping into that same sacral chakra energy, Spadasana. But yeah, I don't know. It has more of like temptation all over it. And there's something about it that was making you feel uneasy. You may have even gone so far as to block this energy, or they may have blocked you, okay, on social media. So something about this, I think things were progressing in a way that you started wondering if you had the whole truth in the situation. Your intuition was alerting you about something, and so you decided to kind of put it on pause. Much like Aquarius, okay? So I don't know if you're possibly dealing with an Aquarius or somebody who has a strong Aquarius placement in their chart. I felt very pulled to use playing cards with you, my Shadow and Light deck, where I've combined two different bicycle playing card decks, the Hidden Oracle bicycle cards to represent the shadow aspects of a situation, and the archangel cards to represent the light side of the situation. And we're going to be doing a zodiac wheel spread where we're going to look at the 12 houses and their areas of influence and how it's going to affect your life throughout the month of February. All right, so we'll get a nice comprehensive view. I will have timestamps for you. I am going to head into the shuffling portion now, where often channeled messages come in. Once those timestamps are up after this is aired, you may, want to skip ahead. A lot of times people do. They want to just get straight to the read. That's fine, but do be aware that you may miss some important memos that come through. All right. So putting the shuffling on at 6:16. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the 5 of diamonds coming up in the light. This lets me know that you cut something off, much like came up in the initial download. You cut something off because you just felt like it had gone cold. This is what I'm getting. Like maybe initially it really like stirred you up. It made you feel very enthusiastic, but maybe you didn't see like kind of a real building of the energy. It sort of just like fell flat. Maybe you also felt like you were kind of put on the back burner and you're like, you know what? I don't want to sit and wait around for this thing to like get legs and go somewhere. I have things I want to do. I have places I want to go. I have new beginnings of my own to create with this Ace of Diamonds also coming up in the light. Right behind that, there's that stalemate energy. Look at this, 2 of spades, and it's coming up in the shadows. So I think there was an energy that you really felt like you needed to block it off. I'm picking this up very strongly. There's something that you left out in the cold. You said, I'm done with that. I need to put this on hold. My new beginning is elsewhere, and I'm going to invest my energy in a new way. And we see you very much standing in your power here, Queen of Hearts, coming up in the light. And it's because you knew this thing. This is why I love combining the decks. 5 of diamonds, okay? Again, double message, so this is significant. Coming up in the shadow. You knew that this was not a fair and an equitable situation, okay? And 2 of hearts coming up in the shadow. This was not the love union that you thought it would be. There's something here about a lot of chemistry, sexual attraction, and it's one of these things where initially you thought this was going to be like your 2 of cups. It was going to be this point of affinity, like we really get each other. There's soul recognition here, but it turned out to be something that actually had a lot more shadow aspect involved. And it feels like a bit of a karmic connection, just in the sense of all connections are karmic on some level, okay? Because we all come into this earth with karma. But some come into our lives to really, go through the trenches with. They illuminate something within us that we really need to transform, something we need to let go, something we need to go beyond within ourselves that's holding us back on our path. And I think you came to that realization. And we do have 3 of spades here also in the shadow. So there's definitely been a separation here. And I think you separated yourself from this because you felt that it was very unhealthy on some level. There was something toxic going on in the mix. And you decided ultimately you did not want to be a part of that, okay? So we are going to shuffle right now. That's just kind of a general overview. We're going to shuffle for the 12 different houses and see what else comes in while we're shuffling. We are looking at what is coming up for Pisces collective in terms of where they're going to be at in February. How are they going to be feeling? Where are they at? Mind, body, spirit. What's their general view? What energy are they entering February with? And how will that energy be developing for them throughout the month of February? What is coming in for Pisces in the month of February? Okay. I had some of this going on in your pre-shuffle where there was like a real hard time bringing things together. You got 2 crossing influences here, so this is an important month for you. I feel like you got a little bit of this energy where you're trying to decide if you should take the high road or if you should aim low. There's a little bit of this shadow and light dualism playing out throughout the month for you. All right. Very front and center. You're making an important choice. And I think it's like, do I take the high road or do I take the low road? You know, you're really in the crossroads and maybe a bit in the crosshairs in February. All right. Let's see what is coming up for Pisces in terms of finances, what they value, what they're investing in the month of February. Okay. Again, another crossing influence coming up in the light. What's coming up in the area of communication for Pisces in the month of February? What's coming up in the area of communication for Pisces in the month of February? What is coming up in the area of communication? Okay, got quite a few cards coming out there. Everything so far coming out as a crossing influence. So you have a lot of important choices to make and a lot of actions that need to be taken. That's what I know when there's a crossing influence coming up. Also, that there's a lot of elements outside of yourself that factor into your situation. There's forces that are working for you in some cases, and there's forces that are working against you. So how you decide to move, how you decide to navigate these obstacles counts for everything this month, all right? So you really want to be mindful about your choices. So I think it's good that you've kind of like created some space for yourself to get really clear without outside interference, and certainly from people that have you feeling like a little uneasy, like maybe they're not to be trusted or there's something hidden, something you're unsure of, all right? Maybe there's going to be some kind of communication coming forward around this in February, all right? Somebody that you feel hasn't been totally honest with you, okay? Let's see what's coming up for Pisces in terms of their home life in the month of February. Okay, that came out really quickly. I think this is what has you in this place of confusion for sure. Okay, something's going on at home, and it's really like pulling on two different sides of you. There's the part of you that wants to do like the quote unquote right thing, and there's the part of you that's like, no, this ain't right, and I need to do something about it by any means necessary. All right, it's just coming in. Might be wanting to do something a little out of pocket. You might feel like somebody is doing something, you know, unethical that affects your home. All right, so this coming in very strongly. What's coming up in terms of romance, earthly pleasures, you know, the good stuff, the fun stuff for Pisces in February. What is coming up for Pisces in the area of romance, pleasure, the fun stuff for Pisces in February? All right. Okay, that kind of came out as a crossing influence too, but I think you're kind of moving out of a place of indecision and you're getting a clearer direction, all right, in matters of romance and just where the pleasure is for you, where the good stuff is for you. All right, what is coming up for Pisces in the area of their work and routine in February? All right, upright. First thing, you know, really upright. All right, at least you got that dialed in. You know, you're pretty certain about your work and routine and what needs to happen there. Okay, what is coming up for Pisces in the area of relationships, marriages? Whoa, that was kind of sticky. Commitments. All right, another crossing influence. All right, very, very interesting. Okay, what is coming up for Pisces in the area of sex, intrigue? Popped right out. That popped right out. And it's very interesting because it popped right out on the pile that has to do with communication, and it spins one of your shadow aspects around. It was a blocking influence and then it went upright. So this lets me know there's a connection between these two things with communication here. All right. Try to make a mental note of that. But if it slips when I'm channeling in the read, you know, you remember that. Make a mental note of that because that's significant. Okay. What is coming up in the area of travel, expansion, spirituality for Pisces in February? What is coming up in the area of expansion, travel, spirituality for Pisces in February? What is coming up for Pisces in the area of travel, expansion, spirituality in February? Come on, Pisces. Just as I said that, flipped it right up right in the middle of the deck. All right. Thank you. Can't be shuffling all day, man. You got to cough up the information if I'm going to read it. What is coming up in the area of career, brand, public image, PR for Pisces in February? What is, okay. Another crossing influence there is something that needs to be revamped. You know, there's something that needs to be presented in a way that's going to really highlight the truth, what you're bringing to the table. I feel like there's something a little bit off in the public presentation of it. Something that can be refined is what's coming through. Okay. What is coming in for Pisces in the area of their friend circle? All right, that's flipped right up. Some things to deal with there. What's coming up for Pisces in the area of their house? Karma, evolution, hidden enemies. What is coming up for Pisces in the area of karma? What needs to be? All right, almost flew away. All right. And then we will get a theme card utilizing a different deck when it's time for that. Let's see, 17:20 on the clock. You got something to say, Ted? Do you need to go outside? Yes? Okay, one moment. Go ahead. All right, so just as we're supposed to get into it, you know, he needs to leave the room. So it's interesting. I always feel like everything that happens in a reading happens for a reason. So that might be why you have kind of taken some space from something or a certain situation. I mean, this is really like the overarching theme that's been coming in for you in all the downloads and even showing up in the pre-shuffle. So I think you're kind of like steadying yourself. I almost feel like you're steadying yourself maybe for some kind of confrontation, something you need to address. You want to address it the right way. Some of you are really wanting to, you know, act in a way you can feel proud of. You want to stand in your power. You want to stand in your truth. But there's this temptation. There is this temptation, like I said, to kind of hit below the belt because there's something here that has you really riled, all right? This might be why you needed to take some space just to kind of like, you know, cool off a little bit, gather your thoughts. So we'll see what's coming in for you all. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so we know somebody did something that was not right. All right, we got the 7 of spades and it is coming up in the shadows. This is dirty, dirty, dirty. All right. 7 of spades is somebody doing something really underhanded. There's secrets. This is something that likely was hidden or at least attempted to be hidden. And it's very sneaky energy. You know, it's somebody doing something that they know they shouldn't be doing. They know that by doing this thing, it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause conflict. It's going to cause complication. Now for you, you really have to pick what side you're on. This may have been something just because of what I was picking up in the initial download, the channel download. This may have been something that you were very tempted to be involved in. And yet at the same time, you knew like, this is kind of like out of integrity for me. This isn't really the path I should go down. And yet there is a strong temptation there. And I think particularly this could be coming up in the area of sexual attraction. All right. Maybe, you know, you're in a relationship. Maybe things have kind of hit that point where it's like, all right, you know, things have gone a little bit cold. You know, we've been together a long time. I'm kind of feeling a little bored. Like, That spark's not there. We're kind of settled into a routine. Maybe somebody came around, they saw that fire in you, they lit up that fire in you. You started feeling tempted. This is just one possible scenario, all right? It is coming in for somebody. I'm picking up like strong sexual temptation. I feel this very strongly, but there's some part of this that like to involve yourself in this is not really, it's not really the best thing to do. I don't know if it's like a matter of because you're in a relationship or if it's because this person is in a relationship or this is somebody that, your friends involved with, or there's something that makes it very complicated and messy, but they're sneaking around. Okay. There's something here that is not really above board. Okay. There's something here that's not really above board. And this could be somebody playing you this way. Maybe this is somebody that you trust, you think you can count on them. This might be somebody who, wants to come back in, wants to come back around, wants to reestablish a connection with you. But the last time you had to go around with this person, it didn't end so well. Okay. So there's all these elements in play, but there's secrets here. There's secrets here. There's somebody trying to get away with something, and it's sneaky. It's sneaky. But we do see with the 10 of spades here, and this is coming up in the light, that I think you recognize this. I feel like this is you really calling it out. And maybe if you did feel tempted, you called yourself out. You were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't do this. And it was 22:11 on the clock. I think you brought yourself into alignment in this situation. You knew that things weren't operating on the up and up. You didn't want to be connected with that. You didn't want to be affiliated with that. You didn't want it to affect you, your situation, your reputation. You deaded this thing. You put an end to it with the 10 of spades. You decided to cut your losses. This isn't the best thing for me. You might still be in the process of kind of closing out a cycle with this, letting this thing go, whether it's a person, place, thing. With the 7 of spades, it certainly could be like also a really unhealthy habit or something that you have gotten into a routine with doing that just like sabotages you. It holds you back. It doesn't work in your favor. But maybe it's something that's very indulgent, or it's pleasurable. It's hard for you to give up, maybe you like sitting around smoking that weed, or something along those lines. And yet you see the way that it makes you kind of unmotivated. You don't get everything done that you could get done. So this could be procrastination too. So look at it that way, but it's one way or another. It's something that it's stealing away. It's stealing away time and energy from what to be the right path that you should be on. And I feel like it was a distraction for you. And at one point, you started really realizing, like, this isn't healthy for me. And because of that, you're doing some pruning. And I see like this is really going to be a big focus for you in February. You're going to be completing an old cycle. You're ready for a new beginning. You're ready to end this. You're ready to move away from this energy that's not trustworthy or sabotaging patterns of behavior you have. And you're ready to get things started, fresh slate, new direction, moving in a more positive direction in general. Now, in terms of your finances, this is a crossing influence. We have the 5 of hearts. And so I feel like there is like this sense of wanting to be in a better place financially, wanting to earn more money. Maybe you have been doing more work that's more aligned with like what really makes you happy, what's fulfilling for you. But it's not the thing that's going to be like your bread and butter right now. And so you might be considering taking up some additional work or maybe going back to, the workforce. Maybe you stepped away from that for a bit to just explore a more creative direction or start to develop your own business, but you're kind of feeling like, oh, I'm not getting the revenue I need to get to really make this feasible long term. And so you're starting to think of some options. I think this feels like a little disappointing to you because you really enjoy the new direction that you've been heading in, and yet there's certain things that you need in order to feel just stable in your life. And this is a concern for you. So I think this is sort of like, there's something else you need to take on to get your finances in a better place, but there's also a sense of sort of like dragging your heels, like, oh man, do I really have to do that? I see this as maybe having to take a job that you don't necessarily want to take, or take on some extra gigs, or take on some extra clients when you're already feeling kind of depleted, but it's just what you need to do if you're going to get your finances in a better place and not have that worry and stress hang over your head. I think you don't want to have the worry and stress hang over your head. So ultimately, with this coming up in the light, I think you're going to do what you need to do. And I do see that you'll be able to get your finances in a better position. And I think probably the best way to think of this is it's temporary. Okay. It's not always going to be like this, but in February, it might be something you do need to have an eye on. Just like, how can you switch this up, and if you're really determined to just stick with what you've been doing creatively, what can you do to start to generate more business? But there's something that needs to be addressed here, and it requires a little bit more elbow grease, like really putting some work in to make something happen. So I see you addressing where things have been kind of like a little too lean financially. I do see you maybe like taking on some extra work, maybe working some extra hours. Some of you recently lost a job, you're out of work, you're looking for employment. You might have gotten into that place where you're sort of lacking confidence. It kind of took a blow for you. Your confidence took a bit of a blow when you lost your job. You've been kind of depressed about this, but this is a clear sign that you need to get out there and you need to turn it around. Go out, put out your resume. 27:27 on the clock. Okay. It's like, this is the end of an old cycle, and in order for you to move out of this place where you're kind of just eking by rather than really thriving financially, you're going to have to generate some actual like motivation to get out there and get things happening, get things moving with the finances. Now, we know that the communication house, there's something to do with this like sexual component, because there was connection between the eighth house energy that came in, and it flipped this card, which I don't know what it is right now, because right now it's face down, but it flipped this card from being a crossing influence to upright. So let's see what it is. And this is wild because it ties right into the next house. Okay, this is the Four of Clubs coming up in the shadow. There's definitely something that's going on at home or that's affecting your home life. It's also potentially for those of you who are married or in a really serious live-in commitment, it's negatively impacting your connection. And with this, we have the Eight of Hearts coming up in the light, to the King of Clubs coming up in the light, to the Six of Spades coming up in the light, to the Eight of Clubs coming up in the shadow. All right, so there's some kind of communication that's going to be coming in, or that has been ongoing. And I think it's been ongoing. I have the sense that it's been ongoing. And there's like a continuation of this communication, this conversation. I think that for a lot of people, this has to do with you talking to somebody kind of on the down low. And it's somebody that throws a wrench in the works, so to speak. If you're in a committed relationship, if you're in a live-in relationship, this puts your commitment, your relationship in a compromising position. In some way, there's something kind of secretive about this. There's something kind of on the down low about this. And if it were to be out in the open, that it wouldn't be looked at favorably. or it was caused some kind of drama or some kind of problem. This is very front and center, likely involving a fire sign energy, okay, with the King of Clubs coming up here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I think that ultimately, though this communication is ongoing, and there actually might be some kind of harsh communication or something that comes through in this connection that really like just turns you off in February. And I say that because there is a recognition with the 6 of spades and the 8 of hearts that I need to move away from this thing. Okay. It's coming up in the light. We got the King of Clubs too, also coming up in the light. It actually may be this fire sign energy that makes the choice to move away from this because they recognize that this is not really being true to form. Maybe they are the ones who are in a commitment, or it otherwise somehow compromises them to be having this kind of communication with you. But I do feel like maybe they will be the ones that say, hey, this has gotten out of hand. I'm not comfortable with this situation. I think it's time for us to kind of cut this off. In some cases, this could be a breakup. Okay. If there's somebody that you've been involved in a relationship with or some kind of connection with, you may find out that this person is in a commitment or that they're going to get married, or there's something along these lines, like maybe something hidden that comes to light. But there is a moving away from this situation because you realize it's just not in alignment with your truth. Okay. And there is some kind of truth coming out about this that causes an ending of connection with this person. I do feel like there is some difficult communication around this in February, and that's what's really coming forward. There's a lot to iron out here. And in particular, it's talking about a lot of stuff that's been in the shadow, like things that have been swept under the rug, things that have been hidden in this connection that are coming to light, and also just otherwise negativity that's kind of connected to this situation, maybe on the periphery, maybe in how it impacts other people that you're close to. Okay, so be on the lookout for that to come in. Now, we see this theme further carried over when we look at your home situation, because what do we have? We have the 7 of spades, all right? But it's coming up in the light. What I have to say about this, though, is again, you have this 7 of spades energy. It's already come up for you. It's actually what opened up the read in the shadow. This is why I like using the 2 decks. We know that this is something that you're in the process of ending. Now we know that it's affecting your home life, okay? It's something that's going on at home that's really toxic, all right? And could really break up a happy home, potentially. This could also be theft around the home, some kind of foul play around the home, somebody doing something shady that compromises the security of the home or causes disruption in the home. 7 of spades is a very sneaky energy. So it gives me the feeling of either theft, some kind of damage to property, somebody taking something that's not theirs. Or it could be somebody just trying to get away with something that they know they shouldn't do. This could be something as minor as like you got a roommate, you've asked them like, hey, don't touch my food. And they keep like going in the fridge and like sneaking food in the middle of the night that's not theirs. You're tired of dealing with it. They don't honor agreements. It could be something as simple along those lines to somebody actually like going in your purse and stealing money from you. Or if you're in a relationship, it could certainly be some third party interference, somebody stepping out on the connection. And this is coming to light. But with it in the light, what I have to say is what was done in the dark will be revealed, all right? And it's something that affects the home life. I feel like something is being aired out, something's coming out into the open, some kind of truth is coming forward. Somebody's getting caught in the act. That's what I got. And it has to do with the home. And it was 35 on the clock when I said that, all right? With that 8 energy, it very well could have something to do with money, okay? Something to do with money where somebody was unethical, tried to take advantage of somebody financially, take something that wasn't theirs to take. But I feel like this is finally being exposed, coming out in the open, and there is some cleanup work to do around this. I do think you're going to overcome it though with it coming out in the light aspect. So it looks like you kind of have the upper hand in this situation. So maybe you already know about this and maybe you're just waiting for the truth to come out. Maybe you're just waiting for the opportunity to really confront it. And that's why you kind of open up with this energy where it's like, tempted between acting out of the light or the shadow. Which way should I go? Should I aim high or aim low? It's that kind of a vibe. Now, in the area of romance, we have the Jack of Spades, okay? And this is coming up in the light. It's also coming up as a crossing influence. So this is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I know I mentioned Aquarius at the beginning of your read. Maybe somebody you're dealing with has a strong Aquarius placement. That's possible. Or there's something really going down in the romance department in Aquarius season. When it comes to romance, I always see this as a sign of very impetuous behavior, like somebody has something that they need to communicate. And a lot of times it can be a declaration of feelings that have been held in for a really long time. Okay. And we already see you're going to have some kind of loaded communication coming in around, it seems like somebody that has a romantic interest or maybe somebody you were attracted to or involved with or talking to on the down low. So I do feel like this factors in. I also feel like this may feel very sudden to you. You may feel the urge to really charge forward, do something about this when this communication comes in. For those of you who have been single, get ready for some action. If you've been going through like a real kind of like lull in terms of the dating scene, look for somebody to come in who's really taken with you. They could have strong air sign placement. They want to get to know you. I think they've had their eye on you for a while. And they're going to want to move this thing forward. Like this person is not messing around. They definitely have like their sights set on you. They know what they want and they're going to go for it. And I think you're going to have somebody bring you quite the declaration of love. You may even get like a Valentine that kind of takes you by surprise, and maybe you're just, you're normally not much into that because normally Valentine's kind of comes and goes and you never really see anything come through with it. And you just kind of view it as sort of like a superficial kind of like obligatory holiday anyway, a commercial holiday. But I don't know, you might change your mind if somebody, does something kind of bold for you. I think it might turn you on. Okay. So this looks good. I also see you getting out there more. You're not going to be such a homebody in February. You want to go out, you want to have some fun. And I think you're really going to be enjoying yourself and, kind of connecting with people who are sort of spirited. You're having really good conversations. You're enjoying these people you're connecting with and you're wanting to get to know them better. So it has a feeling of kind of like a community building to me, community building. Now in the area of your work and routine, we got the Two of Hearts. All right. So it's coming up in the light. I feel like this is you trying to get on the same page with another person. I think this is also you trying to balance things between work and pleasure. I think maybe you need to find more of a balance in regard to that. And you're going to be looking at this. How can I make room for pleasurable things, just to go out, have fun, do things I enjoy, while still getting down to business and taking care of what I have to take care of. I also see you indulging in a lot more self-care. This is going to become a real big central part of your daily routine. But I feel like you kind of diving more into like the pleasurable kind of self-care. I'm picking up like a lot of pampering. Maybe it's been a while since you've gone and like you've had your nails done or gotten a massage or had your hair done, like something along these lines. And I feel like you're going to be treating yourself this month. You're kind of wanting to have a little bit of a glow up, just sort of indulge that side of you a little bit more. And I think you're really going to be enjoying that. Again, you might get surprised by something on Valentine's Day. I'm getting like couples massage kind of energy or like spa retreat, something along these lines, or like maybe even a little like romantic getaway just for the weekend. I think you're going to really enjoy that. It's going to shake up your routine in a really delightful way, but I do feel like there's like some unexpected like romance coming in that's going to shake up your routine in a little bit, bring a little bit more pleasure, less just kind of same old drudgery into your February, and this is going to have you feeling pretty good. It's going to have you feeling pretty good. Now, in the area of committed relationships, marriages, we have a shadow aspect, and it's the Four of Hearts. Okay. So I think that those of you who are in committed relationships and with, all this temptation energy on the board, it's a little challenging for you in February because this is really giving me the vibe of you're feeling a little bored. It's kind of, nah, where'd the spark go? And maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need to shake up the routine if that's the case. Maybe you need to, go out and do something different. Get out of the house, go on a little jaunt, go stay someplace with a nice big jacuzzi tub with a gorgeous view and just do all the things that you did when you first were getting to know each other, and maybe you can relight that flame. But this shows kind of like sort of a codependent kind of dynamic operating as well. This might be something you feel really challenged by. Maybe you feel like your partner's become a little too dependent on you. Maybe you feel like they're a little too clingy. Maybe you feel like they're cramping your style, or maybe you've noticed tendencies in yourself where you're wanting to just be a homebody. You've gotten a little set in your ways of just being sort of in that couple zone. And you might need to shake that up a little bit, go and do more things on your own, find your own inspiration, find your own, friends to go and hang out with if you feel like your lives have become a little enmeshed, or if it's your partner that's more in that space, kind of like encourage them to kind of like, hey, get out there, meet some people, like go have some fun, and I think that as you both start to infuse more energy focused on, what really makes you happy, it allows you to kind of bring new energy into the relationship, and that can sort of fan the flames that have died down a little bit. So I see you doing some work around this. And those of you who are single, in terms of love relationships, I think the last connection you were in, you really felt held back by the person you were with. You felt like it really was a limiting force in your life because there was just too much of this like enmeshment. That's what I'm getting. Just enmeshment, like always having to be together, do everything together. You sort of lost yourself a little bit. And so you're afraid of ending up in another relationship like that. So I think you're being very mindful as you're exploring options, which might be the reason why there's so much like just sexual energy coming up in your read. You might just be wanting to take things a little bit more loosely because you don't want to end up in that kind of a dynamic again. You can trust yourself, have fun, follow your heart, and yeah, be open, have a good time. But it does look like you're kind of grappling with something, Is it really in alignment with the truth of who you are? I think you're going to overcome it. Looks like you have a lot of light elements sort of prevailing in your read. You might be tempted at times. You may dip your toe into the shadow a little bit. You might, okay? But I think ultimately, your higher consciousness is going to win out. Now, in terms of that sex, in terms of that sex and intrigue and death transformation house, we have the Queen of Diamonds coming up in the light. So I like this coming up here because this shows that you're really recognizing your worth, your value. You're not wanting to compromise yourself. You know what's true for yourself. This is you really being grounded in that position. With the Queen of Diamonds coming in here, you might receive some kind of money through an inheritance, or hear about some kind of money from an inheritance that could benefit you. And this might be connected to an earth sign energy. So that would be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or you could have a strong earth sign placement in your chart. I also feel like you're doing a lot of transformation in the area of finances. We did see that, like you're looking at your career and how you want to shift things so you can be in a better place financially. You may have experienced a loss financially, and now you're really looking at how you can revamp that. So I feel like this is a big area of transformation for you in February. And I do see you in a really solid position with that, okay, where you've suffered some kind of financial loss. Do be ready for a transformation. I think you're going to get back into a place where you feel more secure on that level. It does have big boss energy to it, though. So I do think a lot of you are going to start to develop something for yourself. You might get a job on the side while you're building a business of your own. That's kind of like the vibe that I got with that. All right. Now, in the area of travel, transformation, expansion, spirituality, coming up in the shadow, we have the Two of Clubs. We know you're at the crossroads and you're in the crosshairs, okay? There was something you've been looking out towards. Maybe you were thinking of going on some like love jaunt with somebody, something along these lines. There was something you were looking toward the future with. You were tempted to explore this. I feel like you're weighing this in the balance very strongly. And I think that to move forward with this means that you would have to operate out of the shadow. There's something about it that would need to be hidden. It would need to be kept secret. There's something clandestine about it. You know it's not the best way to move forward. And yet you're still looking at it. You're still tempted. So I think for you, this is a big theme coming through. There's some kind of transformational work you're doing in this area. It's a spiritual test. We get these things that come up on our past, and it was 47 on the clock when I said that. This is about you choosing what side of yourself are you going to come into alignment with. Are you gonna choose the left hand path? Are you gonna choose the right hand path? It's up to you. It's free will. But there is something about this that it's got something toxic attached to it. It's got that devil energy attached to it. All right. So I see you really weighing this out, really considering, do I want to move forward with this? And that's going to be central for you in February. I really feel like you're ruminating on this quite a bit. All right. Whether or not you should move forward with something. And I think it does have to do with an attraction, somebody you're attracted to, some kind of sexual desire you have. It's got big, like, tempted by the fruit of another vibes to it. And there's something about going forward in this direction, it's going to cause problems. It. So it's just about, are you going to listen to your higher wisdom, or are you going to just go down this path because the temptation, only you can decide. All right. Now looking at the area of your career, your PR, we have the Six of Hearts, and it's coming up in the shadow. So this is giving me energy about like the past coming back around, and maybe not in the most favorable way. This could be something that happened in the past that now just kind of comes back around the bend, and it gets exposed, and this somehow affects your reputation, or it affects people's view of you. There's some kind of work that needs to be done in this area. This could also be somebody from your past who is saying things about you that's negatively impacting others' views or opinions of you. I feel it has kind of more of a sort of like a gossipy kind of energy to it. Again, it's soulmate energy with that Six of Hearts. So there's like so much like temptation coming forward in your read. There's something that needs to be, addressed here, because it is going to negatively impact your reputation if this gets exposed. And we know that sneaking around will get exposed. Okay, you had the Seven of Spades. It came up in the light. That means what happens in the dark will come to light. So this gives me big vibes of like karma, like something in the past coming around at the bend and being exposed. And now it has to be dealt with because it's all coming out in the wash. So I think you're going to be doing some cleanup Ooh, we just have blocking energy there. Okay, so there's definitely something to clean up there. Kind of secret coming out, and so much blocking energy. All right, we'll move on from that. You got the memo, okay? Now, in terms of friends and community, we got 5 of clubs coming up in the light. This is competition. This is competitiveness. This is drama. This is arguments. This is a mess. There's some kind of disagreement going on in your social circle. I believe it's because something that's been hidden is going to come to light. And this is going to cause some kind of disruption. I think that you're going to choose to take the high road here with it coming out in the light. I think you don't want to be involved in drama. You may have seen this coming around the bend. I feel like you might be getting a window view into this because maybe at one time you were somehow involved or pulled in or connected to something that you knew had the potential to turn into a big drama. And you saw it coming, so you pulled yourself out of it. You extricated yourself. I think you're going to be grateful you did that because I think 51:51 on the clock when I said that, okay? Because you're going to see this come to light. This is going to go down. I feel like it with it coming into the light too, it's sort of like it's going to be on blast, all right? You may even see this go down on social media. There's something here where there's exposure around it, right? But I think you'll be glad that you made the choice you did to pull yourself back from this and kind of like block this energy. It's kind of like you saved your ass at the 11th hour. I get that very strongly. It was 52:22 on the clock. Spirit might have had a hand in helping you with that. Sort of like Spirit gave you the memo, like you need to pull out of this right quick because you don't want to go down with this. And it was 52:33 when I said that. So I definitely feel like you get a helping hand in this regard. All right. It's sort of got like getting out of it by the skin of your teeth sort of vibes to me. All right. And let's look at the house of karma, your house. Woo. Yep. Look at that. We got the 3 of hearts. Okay. It's coming up in the light. I think this is what's coming to light. Third party interference. I picked this up very strongly. Third party interference. There's like some kind of third party involvement. There's been some kind of clandestine connection. There's been, somebody working with somebody on the down low. There's some vibe about this that is really coming to light. But I feel like for you, there's healing here. And I think it's because you operated in the way you needed to operate, even though you may have had temptation. You did the right thing. You made the right choices. And that was confirmed 53:33. You made the right choices. Okay. So I think by you doing that, you did what you needed to do to keep your balance, mind, body, spirit, and not get pulled into all of this fuckery because it looks like there's going to be some fuckery happening around you. But at the same time, there's also an opportunity for you to have, some adventure. For those of you who are single and ready to mingle, I think you pulled yourself away from a situation. You refused to compete, so to speak. Somebody was trying to triangulate you, and you said, no, I don't need to put up with that. I'm pulling myself out of this. I don't want to sneak around. I don't want to be your side piece. You pulled yourself out of that. And I think because of that, you're going to have, a really tempting new option come your way that you're going to have a lot of fun with. Okay. It looks pretty good, but either way, I feel like you made the right choices. You're making the right choices in February. You're choosing to stay aligned with your truth. And quite frankly, it saves your ass. I mean, that's really what's coming through. I think just with the nature of your read, we're going to get an overarching theme with the Kipper for you. These cards are very like blunt. They don't mess around at all. They don't mince words. They just give you the 100% full download. 55 on the clock when I said that. You got some big changes coming in. And I feel like what's changing is that no longer is it sort of like this everything being hidden, everything being done, kind of beneath the surface or creeping around or secrets or, any of this stuff. Everything is coming up and out into the open. And this is really causing a lot of changes and a lot of things to shift. That's what I pick up. All right. And again, might have something to do with a house. House is front and center for you. All right. A lot going on with the home for you in February. All right. Give me an overarching theme. Give me an overarching theme for Pisces collective. Yep. Boom. What do we got? Marriage. Okay. Now this speaks in many different ways. Please notice the 3 at the top. Okay. So for some of you, those of you who are single, some of you have been involved with somebody that you're actually finding out is married. Or they're going to let you know they're getting married and you didn't even realize you were in a third party situation this whole time. Some of you who were married or in a committed relationship are being affected by a third party influence. This could be another lover. This could be an interfering friend. This could be a meddling family member, or this could be some kind of outside stress or addiction that is negatively impacting the relationship. But something is being exposed, and this offers an opportunity to turn the energy around and create healing in this situation. 56:55 on the clock, okay? It's going to require change. Things are going to have to change. Things cannot continue on the way they have been. It's negatively impacting the home. There's things that need to shift here. But I do see there's an opportunity for healing to come into alignment, to get on the same page, and to work things out. And it's all through things coming up and out into the open, all right? This isn't going to be hidden anymore. And some of you, all right, are going to get a very special surprise on Valentine's Day, and you're going to receive a proposal, all right? Coming through very strongly that there's big changes in store in the areas of love and romance for you all right? That there's also some things that are being exposed in the community, okay? So we know there's a lot of people involved in this situation, and something needs to be addressed here. Something needs to be cleaned up. And on the other side of that, we have coffin, all right? So what I really feel with this 19 energy, to me, it's saying that something needs to be put to rest. I'm getting big, like, let sleeping dogs lie kind of energy, Don't be tempted to go back down roads that, just bring a bunch of drama into your life. Don't be so open to letting somebody back in that can really cause a lot of problems for you or disruption in your home. And if you've really made a decision that, this isn't in alignment with my truth, I don't want to have to move like this, I don't want to have to operate like this isn't right for me. It's so important that you stay true to yourself and true to your path and cut off what needs to be cut off and end those cycles. Doing so preserves your happiness. Doing so preserves your happiness. That's what it comes down to. So I see that there's a lot of cleanup work that's going on right now. And for those of you that are in committed relationships, you're getting rid of like outside interference that's causing a problem for your relationship and is affecting the stability in your home. And this is a very positive thing that will bring a lot of healing into the home again and a lot of togetherness in your relationship. And for those of you who are single, you're getting rid of some dead weight. You're getting rid of some player energy that's been dishonest, and it actually brings something very unexpected your way that will have you smiling at the close of February. So looks pretty good to me. Have fun. Choose wisely, Pisces. Choose wisely. I know you will.